Stay out the way and get my money up. Praying to the Lord I make it safely home.
What's up, guys? My name is GP, and I have recently done a show called, or I'm in the midst of doing a show called The Peach Chronicles, which is a episode by episode breakdown of the show Atlanta. I know I'm too late for that, and I know that Atlanta's passed, but I truly believe that there has been a resurgence of black television in the last 5 years. I work for a company that I pretty much go through television shows on a daily basis, and I have seen a lot of black television. And I consistently feel like I hear online and all this stuff, especially from the generation right older than me, like people in their 40s, mid-40s, that we don't have black television like they had in the 90s or whatever, like we had when I was a child. But there's a lot of great black television out there, and a lot of very black-accurate. I said that the other day, but accurate to black people. It's where it's not television written by white people for black people. It's written by black people for black people, or for everybody, but by black people at least. And that's how I felt about the Vince Staples show. I feel like now when any rapper gets a show, it's compared to Atlanta, and that's unfair because Atlanta is in its own lane. It already has had 4 seasons. Donald Glover is a writer first. He might have been a more famous rapper at the time, but he was already a writer when he was creating that. It's a whole different experience. But I hear constantly the Vince Staples show and Dave and Atlanta and how they're just being compared, and I want to take this show for what it is, because there are some similar themes, because they're both black rappers, or it's both black rapper content between this and Atlanta. But I personally thought the Vince Staples show was so well done. I thought the characters are great. I thought Vince Staples was great in it. I thought the context of the show was great. I thought the length of the show was great, it being 5 episodes. As I told you guys, I've been doing that show called The Peach Chronicles, and so I didn't feel like I would have time to even fit in this show. But since it only has 5 episodes, I'm going to power through it, because this is amazing television. So let's get into it, guys.
Will I ever be?
I like how, just because of where I'm from, I'm originally from Houston, Texas, I like them showing the Asian donut shop at the beginning. Just because it feels like home. Obviously, this is supposed to be LA or Long Beach or that area of California, but we at home in Texas have the Asian donut shops as well, the Asian-run donut shops, and I miss them. Out here in Chicago and the Midwest and on the East Coast, it's not as popular of a phenomenon for a lot of America. So I do appreciate them setting the scene in that way. And I also like the quickness afterwards, in which when the cop pulls over Vince Staples, he's in jail. Because I talked about a jail episode in Atlanta, so I feel like this is going to have some correlating stuff. But as somebody who's just done small county time, like a few days, like what Vince Staples goes through in this episode, I feel like Atlanta, it does a great job and another perspective of showing the wild shit and the random stuff that just goes on in jail. And also just how easily a black man the age of Vince Staples, a black man the age of myself, can find themselves in jail. Like, it's not difficult. There's this idea that jail is for certain people, or that jail is for criminals, or that jail is for whoever. Jail has all types of people in it. Jail has more different types of people than a Walmart. Like, jail has, because it has wealthy people, very few wealthy people, but a ton of poor people from different backgrounds.
I do too.
In there, I didn't notice earlier when I watched it that he crossed out the T and put a V over it. He could even put I hate nightmares, but he said I have nightmares. I don't know. That's something small, but to me, this sets it as a comedic show. This, when I was watching the show, was immediately why I saw the division between this and Atlanta. Atlanta is circumstantially funny, this show is just funny. It's a comedy show. But the way they do the comedy is so natural and put so well into the script that it has its own lane.
Hey, I ain't gonna hold you, bro. I be messing with the music shit, too. You know what I'm saying? My shit is genius, bro.
This element, I feel like this probably happens to artists the size of Vince Staples a lot. Like these people who want to get on, who know that Vince is on, because Vince obviously in this show is playing a rapper that's already on. But he's not some big record label head. He's not somebody who owns a bunch of artists. He's just a solo artist who's on. And so you're not really doing anything by going up to him, especially in jail. But even in real life, like, I doubt if Vince Staples really rocked with you, I'm sure he saw you on YouTube, he'd find you, but I doubt approaching these artists in public or in jail is going to get you much of anything. But it just starts out showing the different types of people you're going to see in jail, especially, I'm sure, as a celebrity. Because he's somebody that there tends to be a lot of black people in jail. So, and he's in jail in his hometown. So people are going to recognize him. And that is extremely unfortunate. Jail is somewhere you want to stay as anonymous as possible. And it's not really possible for Vince, as we immediately see.
My name Vince.
Your other name?
Your other name. So Vince has to give his street name, but then they bleep it out because it's like, we don't give up. Like, it's like on a real life scale, we're not about to say this name in public because this is my street name. So in the show, we might as well like block it off. It is a little bit of the ridiculous because they could have put the name and it wouldn't have given any effect. Everybody in the show heard the name if you put yourself in the position of the scene, but we don't get to hear the name and we have no consequence in the show. So immediately you can see kind of them playing with that wall between the viewer and the show, and they're already doing a good job. The way that Vince is engaging people, though, it's clear that he's been to jail before. It's not something that's new to him. It's definitely something that's annoying. It's definitely something that no position anybody wants to be in, but it's also clear that he's not handling this like super scared. I mean, this dude is clearly huge in telling him he's going to beat his ass when they get to the back over the fact that he's not from his set. And Vince is not at least appeared to be shaken by this information.
Who, Poke? Yeah, he in here all the time. He do be stabbing niggas, though.
Another small element of the show that is true of real quote-unquote jail culture, and he says he be in here all the time. If he sees him in there all the time, that means he's also in there all the time. And that's how it is in jail. People in jail know each other. They're friends. They see each other consistently because a lot of people live in that space. And Vince is going to dive into that idea a little bit better with the old head here in a minute. But there's a certain lifestyle that people live that puts them in jail a lot. And you tend to see people in the same jail over and over again. And you'll, like, know about these people. And you live in this world. And I never noticed that until I spent my little time in there. I was like, okay, so some of these people in here, one dude, he told me he'd been locked up 4 times in a month before. And I was like, dude, that's 4 weeks. Like, I can't imagine getting out and being back in 5 days. But that happens consistently to a lot of people.
Please state your name after the tone.
What are you doing, nigga?
People be in jail cooked. A lot of people are under the influence of something. So this dude peeing against the wall probably doesn't even know he's really doing it. He's probably blackout on the phone. And jail it's a fever dream, for sure. It's a lot of stuff that's, like, unexplainable because, I mean, Vince probably shouldn't even be in there. And a lot of people probably shouldn't really be in jail, like, long term, but it's not a place where things really make sense. So when you try to make sense of them, you get even more confused.
Hey, Bree, I need you to come bail me out.
So Vince is going through that fear of when you get locked up, is somebody about to come get me? Because most jails in America, I don't know if any, but most jails I know you can't bail yourself out. So no matter how rich you are, you're often at the mercy of somebody else coming to get you. in the middle of the day and at night. Like jail, you never go to jail at a convenient time. It's never when somebody's already off, about to be on their way home, that you find yourself in jail at 5:45 p.m. and they just conveniently scoop you. No. It's always inconvenient as hell.
We were supposed to have dinner tonight, but I'm in jail and shit.
And I'm not going to stay in this scene too much longer, but even that element, we were supposed to have dinner tonight, but I'm in jail and shit. I heard that so much, like, jail just interrupts your life. Like, you got to go to work tomorrow, you be in jail. You got to, supposed to go on a date, you be in jail. And how do you explain this stuff, especially because of the frequency in which some people go to jail? Like, you almost just have to come up with shit. Because I remember when I got out and I had to go to work like a day later, 2 days later, you're out in the free world. Nobody really knows you was just locked up. You know what I'm saying? But it just interrupts shit. See, the dude in here asked him if it's his first time, and Vince says no. But why is that man wearing a bowling uniform and bowling shoes? So we've seen a guy pee. We've seen a guy already threaten Vince. We've seen a dude who wants a record deal. And we've seen a dude in a bowling uniform who looks like he might work at a bowling alley, but why do you still have the shoes on?
And this jail shit is crazy, ain't it? Oh, I tell you, when I was young, I used to love it in here. It's like a game, you know?
Deep conversations. The man says...
See, my grandfather always said, you do the crime, you do the time. I wish he'd just said, don't do the crime.
Like, why would you love that? That is a sick mind. That's a poorly taught, poorly developed mind for someone who would enjoy that lifestyle. But it's written in there so precisely because it's what reality is. Even if there wouldn't be somebody in jail that would admit that to you, you can tell in their actions. You can tell in even how confident they are about it or how much they're willing to talk about it, like openly, almost like in a bragging type of manner, like jail time. Like, that sparks an excitement for some people. I guess people who like to evade the law in terms of, like, consistently running and trying to get away with shit. I don't know. I don't have that mentality. But it is the mentality, unfortunately, of a lot of people. And this man is really showing how simple the change of mindset could be if someone is just taught better.
We good now, though. On speaking terms, at least.
So this man gets stabbed by the dude that's in the cell across from him, and this is normal to him. Now they're on good terms because he's already gotten stabbed by him, and he starts singing. Like, just so much obscure, weird shit is going on, and he's been in there probably in showtime all of 2 hours.
I'm a fan. Come on out. You gotta meet the guys.
And this is where, like, in real life... And I'm not a celebrity, but I've actually heard, like, guards talk about it. I've heard people in jail talk about it. Like, if a celebrity goes to a jail, it's talked about. It's like if a celebrity went into whatever, went into a store, went into your local ice cream shop. People know and people talk about this. So people will be like, I locked up this, or this person was in our jail for a DUI, or this. Like, people talk about these things. So it's not strange an idea to me that these police officers want to talk, or these COs or whoever these people are want to talk to Vince, because I mean, they live a real life. They like rap, they like music, they like all this other type of stuff, but Vince is still locked up. And it's a weird dynamic because can't really do anything for him. There's no advantage in him talking to them, yet they want to get to know him because his life in reality is way better than theirs. I thought it was funny that this dude told the guards to be quiet because Vince was sleeping, and then he went in there making all that noise.
Shh. Vince is asleep right now. Hey, sweet dreams, bro.
Oh my goodness, this dude's an idiot. And that's the thing too, obviously, when you're in jail with somebody who's an idiot, if you're next to a bunk of somebody who's an idiot, whatever, you live there, bro. And you're trapped in a cage, and nobody really cares. So then Vince calls his mom, who evidently was in jail herself the last week, and didn't mind it too much. She's sitting lounging and shit like that. She not about to come get him. That's his 2 free calls. Not that Vince don't have money to pay for some more calls or whatever. But this is the shit. Like, once you in there, you in there. And it just shows it. Because Vince is up. Vince is rich. Vince is a millionaire in the show. but he's still stuck in jail until somebody comes to get him.
Are you finna eat that, bro?
I don't know if I really understand the Jaw 2. Maybe it's something that's gone over my head. I don't know if, or maybe it's not meant to be understood. Maybe it's just like the obscure, because they just give you some bullshit when you're in there. So maybe that's just a part of it. But the humor for me comes when the dude takes a bite of it and he knows the flavor of Jaw 2.
It's lit.
Draw 2.
And Vince is also somebody who's confident that he's going to get out. He's going to get out soon, so he's just going to pass his food and stuff like that. He's not about to eat. But, yeah, I don't really know what the Jaw 2 is supposed to be for. I think it's just a part of the obscurity of the show. I think it's the same reason why he just gets locked up immediately. I think it's the same reason why they didn't show or let us hear his other name. I think they're just establishing that level of some of this shit just not finna make sense.
It's really not that bad in here, bro. Food is good. Firm mattresses, bro. I really be in here trying to network, bro.
Once again, a man who's so out of touch with reality, who must go to jail so often that he doesn't even understand the gravity of the situation. He doesn't really understand why Vince wants to leave. He's talking about networking. He's talking about meeting people like that's the best place to do it. And obviously it's a joke. Obviously it's out of reality, but people think like this. People think this dumb about some stuff and would tell you with a straight face that it's like an opportunity for them, but they go consistently. I could see somebody being like, all right, I learned something, but you went once. But somebody like him who's in jail consistently, like he's trying to network within a system that's going to destroy him. And I get it's a joke. I get it's a part of the show. But I do want to highlight that there are guys out there who truly do not see the consequences of sitting in jail. I've sat next to them while they're planning their next crime. So the dude who shits out the crack pipe and then smokes it and then puts it behind the toilet, like, to do all that to get a hit, you struggling. I'm just going to say that. I really don't have much to say about that, but it's true. Like, somebody who wrote this has definitely spent some time in a normal county jail because they have the toilet out like that, and somebody will be just, like, shitting right there. Somebody will be just peeing right there. I remember when I was in there, some dude had said he took a whole bunch of those gas station sex pills, and they made him pee a lot. He peed like 5 times in a few hours while he was sitting there right next to us in the small ass cell. And he was like so lit off of, I guess, drugs mixed with these sex pills that bro couldn't even like stand still. So he pacing back and forth and shit like that. It's just a nasty reality. And so Vince is planning to stay. Because Vince seemingly would rather stay in jail than call his new girlfriend and ask him to bail her out because he says she's not like that. So Vince is planning to stay. He's planning to go back in the tank. And he knows if he goes back in the tank, he got to face this dude.
I just don't understand the root of the problem.
You don't understand. You one of them niggas.
So he tries to be diplomatic about it. And this dude don't care nothing about no type of diplomacy. He's like, nah, you not with me. It's down. Like, it's over. And you gonna face... stuff like that never happened to me in jail. But you go to prison, stuff like that, I guarantee you that shit, it could find you. You're in there with some maniacs. With some true maniacs. And then they talk about how it was a mistake and they let Vince go. And how they make this mistake often.
And I'm sorry for the case of mistaken identity. But don't feel bad. You know, it happens all the time.
There's some real messages, some real truth in this. A lot of people in jail really shouldn't be in there. And they actually just got his identity completely wrong. This exchange is funny to me, this last exchange. How Vince is willing to change what he says. So early in the episode, he told the first dude,
I don't really be fucking with the music like that, though.
But then he told the other dude,
I really be on this music shit, bro.
He told one dude he fucks with him like one of his friends when he thought it would be an advantage. And now that he realizes it's not an advantage, he
Fuck T-Lo.
Pulls a pistol out and walks away. And then the dude respects him more because a pistol was brought out. It shows the mentality of us a lot of times. People are like, nah. Because a lot of times people will be like, these rappers fake. They don't even really be having guns. And I'm guessing it was in the bushes over there because Vince threw it. That's what I would guess. He threw it when he was getting pulled over because he's right at the spot where he was about to get pulled over. So when he pulled out the bushes and put it in his waistband, and the guy respected him more because of this. It's funny, but like it's funny because it's true. It's just all this stuff, like I said at the beginning of the episode, is so black-accurate.
That's cool.
Anything interesting happen?
Not really.
And then this is just a normal accuracy of a man. A man could go through that all day, sit with his girl at the end of the day. She's in a good mood. He got some dinner cooked, so life's okay. Life's better than those guards were. And he's just like, I'm good. The whole goal was to get some tickets, which we'll see in a later episode, is tickets to something that's not good. So he went to go get tickets for something that he does not enjoy for his girl, gets locked up in the process, and then can't really tell her about what happened. Just the struggles of a man. So in this first episode, and I will say, I personally, from watching it the first time, this was my least favorite episode probably, which is good. I mean, the show seemingly just got better as it progressed, or it seemed like the 4 episodes after this were just written with a lot of confidence. Like, this one was good. Maybe I'm just not a huge fan of, like, jail themes and stuff like that, but I thought this was a great way to start off the show, and I thought it was a great way to set the tone as a comedic show, but Vince is going to go through some shit. Guys, this was episode 1 of the Vince Staples Show called The Pink House. This is the Who is Vince Staples podcast. I'll see you guys next time.
Hey, bro, just whipped out on me. I really like that.